Welcome, Latha Jay, to the Love You Even More podcast. Latha is a spiritual strategist. She is a manifestation expert. And today we're going to talk all about the scientific aspect of manifestation because so many of you listening are obviously manifesting in your lives. You do this is part of your world. But it's also helpful to understand the scientific angle of it so they can even make your manifestations even stronger. And for those of you, which we're going to get into, listening who may not be so into the woo and you somehow found yourself here in this podcast, we're going to give you a reason to maybe feel a little bit more connected to the woo. So, Latha, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about the conversation. I'm very passionate about manifestation and really being able to present it in so many different angles so that people can really get it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because, I mean, the first time I really heard about manifestation was The Secret, and that was like 20 years ago. But man, I was like, oh, yes. All of this is a big, huge yes. And I had a very spiritual background to begin with, but manifestation alone has become such a huge conversation and topic, and people are, it's so normal to talk. Well, at least in LA, it's really normal to talk about it. And I feel like it's become very like mainstream in a way, but I think there's a lot of people who don't understand A, how to use it correctly, and then B, how to use it correctly. Let's start there.
I love that you're mentioning The Secret because I think that that was kind of and a big influence in my life to have a turning point. Because, like you were mentioning, I grew up in a very spiritual home. You know, we have a ethnic Indian background. My grandmother raised us, who lived in India her whole life, came over here to the United States to raise us. We practiced Ayurveda. We have a prayer room. We always meditated. We lived in a very different way. I didn't realize that until I was a little older and went to my friend's house and I'm like, "Where's your prayer room?" And they're like, "What?" Totally different kind of life. But
Yeah.
the thing is that it was so ingrained in me that that was just the way that life was until The Secret came out. And I said, wait a second. So other people understand this, but in a different way. And when that came out, it kind of gave me a different vocabulary to be able to talk about this with people and then start to even, teach it. But in the beginning, I just loved talking about it so much because it felt like home to me. This
Yeah.
is what I've always known and been with. So
Yeah.
to be able to grow the original idea into the knowledge, the vast wealth of knowledge that I have about it now has been such a blessing. It's been incredible.
I agree. I felt the same way. I was like, oh, I feel like I've been doing this forever. But you just put like a name to it. You just really described it for me. And when I watched The Secret, I mean, I think I watched The Secret every day for like a year. And I did it as like a practice. It was really, and it was great. I loved it. It was all a good time. So let's talk about, I actually want to know what your like idea of manifestation was before you watched The Secret. Like, where were you coming from with manifestation?
Yeah, I learned a lot about manifestation actually from my grandmother, who really had this ancient wisdom, I want to say, from, her upbringing. And she grew up in like a little village in India, but she had this ability to really like call things into existence. And I was always in awe of it because I didn't understand how she would do it. And once we had gone, every summer we had spent in India, or every other summer. And there was one time that she had wanted this particular pot to bring home. It was like shaped like an elephant, a terracotta pot. And she was like, "This is what I want." And we hadn't seen it anywhere. And she was like, "I know we'll see it." And she just like had this faith about it. And it was the next day that all of a sudden I'd never seen this pot that it existed before we found the exact pot that she wanted. She was like, "This is it. Here it is." And it was just like in flow and beautiful and so effortless in the way that she would do things and the way that she would move around in her life.
Yeah.
And that's where I really first learned manifestation. And as a child, early on, when I had gotten into school, probably like first grade or so, I remember I would explain it to my friends, like when they were like, what are you talking about? I remember there was one time we had a Mother's Day raffle. It was so the teacher had brought in a bunch of little pots and different things that you could get for your mom. And she'd pick a number out of a hat or whatever. And then she'd say, "Okay, this is this person. You can pick whatever you want up there for your mom."
Mhm.
I remember it was like the first couple of people went. I was like, "Oh man, I want to get picked next because I really want this particular little jar." It had a lotus flower on it. And I know my grandma really liked lotus flowers, and so did I. So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna like manifest." And I really thought about it, and I imagined the teacher pulling in whatever. And I told my friend, I was like, "I'm gonna get picked next." And then she picked me next,
Hmm.
and I got thought that I wanted. My grandmother had it, her whole life. Now I have it in my house, actually. And it was like, I remember my friend turned to me and she said, "How did you do that? How did you know you were going to go next?" And I said, "Oh, well, I just thought about it with my heart." And that was the way that, as a 6-year-old, I could explain it. I thought about it with my heart.
That's so
And that's
sweet.
what manifestation really is. Yes. But
That
it's
is.
like, yeah,
Oh, no, no, go on, go on.
like having the thought and putting the emotion behind it, right? And that was like the purest way that I could explain it at that time. And that's exactly what manifestation is, right?
Yeah,
Really thinking about something with the emotional attachment to it or the emotional energy with it.
right.
And then that's what calls it to fruition.
Absolutely. And then because the big part for manifestation for me, because I am an actual manifester in my human design chart, and I was like, no shit. No, no question there. But I think the biggest thing that I really learned early on was the law of detachment. Like you feel it, you know it's coming, and you know it's coming so strongly that you're able to just be in flow and just have it appear, like have it come to you. But I think a lot of people get stuck on that and they hold on too tight and they're like, no, I just really want this or I really need this. Like this needs to happen from like a desperate, energetic place. Can you talk to me or talk to us more about that part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's human nature to want something so much and then feel like you're pining for it or have
Mm-hmm.
like a deep attachment to it. But what that really signals to the universe, and our emotions really are the signals to the universe, right? What that really signals is that we're not ready for it and we're in the space of lack in it. Because if you had it, you weren't in that energy of pining for it. And the universe always understands the energy that you're putting out, and that's what you're getting back. It's the identity that you're carrying. So when you're carrying the identity of someone who doesn't have it, you're in that space of, oh my gosh, I always think of like, what's that character, Smeagol from
Yes, from Lord of the Rings.
and being in that like and I feel like a lot of times with manifestations that's how we get. We're like, I need to have this partner, I need to have this whatever it is, we get into this like almost a different character than who we are. We shift our identity into the
Yeah,
identity of the person that lacks it rather than the identity of the person who has it or has faith that it's in their space, that it's what it's calling into them. There's
right.
a distinction between those two things.
Because I think, gosh, that's just such a human feeling, right? A human feeling of like desperation, of want, of need, and to hold on to something. And honestly, anytime you hold on to anything, I feel like you're just gonna lose it. It's already like trying to leave you because it's being smothered, and nothing really wants to be smothered. Um, okay, let's get into a little bit of the scientific aspect of manifestation. And like, I'm gonna give the mic to you, and I just want you to like kind of talk to us about how this is scientifically happening.
Yeah, a lot of it is rooted in neuroscience, at least the understanding of manifestation is rooted in neuroscience. Inside of our brains, we have a system, it's called the reticular activating system, abbreviated as RAS. And basically, what that system does is that it helps us to identify things in our world, which is really beneficial, especially when there's something associated with something that's important. And the reticular activating system knows that something is important when it's associated with a feeling. So when we have a fear, when we see a snake and we're
Mm.
like, there's a snake, I'm in danger, I need to run away, or we see someone coming at us with a knife or something like that, and we have this fear reaction, the reticular activating system makes a note. And it's like, okay, when someone is approaching us quickly with a sharp object, fear, right? This is like it's important. When there's a snake, that's important because there's fear associated with it. Now,
Right.
this is the same for any emotion. So when there's like an extreme joy, the reticular activating system is like, oh, wow, this is extreme joy. Like this is what's associated with this.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that we're bringing an awareness, something into our life, and I always notice this when I'm buying a new car. Always, without fail, I notice this. I'll test drive the car. Maybe I've even ordered it and it's coming to me. And all of a sudden, I will see that car 15 times on the way home. And I'm like,
Totally.
why did I
Totally.
buy this car? Come into just because I'm buying it now, everybody wants it kind of thing. No, those cars already existed, but our noticing of it has shifted,
Right.
right? And that's really the science behind manifestation because everything exists already. More money, the partner that you want, the body that you want, the wealth that you want in your life, the
Yeah.
status, the courage, those shoes, everything.
Definitely the shoes.
Everything already exists in your life, but it's just becoming really like taking it in and having the awareness that it's there and that you can just have it and that it's yours. So once you really like step out of your own way,
Yeah.
everything starts to flow. When you just stop blocking yourself from those blessings coming into you, everything shifts.
And you know so well about this part, which is the people who are blocking this. And we all block it, right? For insecurities or belief systems that are like, you can't have that, or you've never had that. How would you have that? That's a real part of what blocks manifestation is if you really don't believe you can have something, but you really think, oh, I do want it. There's no way you'll have it. You really won't because it's like cognitive dissonance right there. You're like, I do want it, but I don't. Which do I choose? Talk to me more about that and how that works.
All the blocks are really rooted in this space of shadows that we have within us or limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
right? So if we have this limitation, it becomes our new identity, and that's what our identity is built on. And I'll share very personally, I mean, early on in my life, I got married in my early 20s. It did not go well. And it went very quickly. And in that process, after that whole journey, I was like, I'm unlovable. There's no good people out there. Everybody cheat. I had created these stories, right? And those became shadows that I carried and those stories that I repeated again and again to myself. So guess what? For the next decade, what did I encounter?
That's
People that
what you saw.
people that continued to make me feel unlovable, nobody being able to be faithful. I had created
Yeah.
all these stories. And it occurred to me one day, and I was already a manifestation teacher at this point, right? Really having incredible results in my students' lives and having a wonderful life on my own too, but on my own. And I knew that
Yeah.
in my heart, I wanted partnership. And I one day I just woke up and I was like, wait a second. The mirror was shown to me and I said, oh, I have to shift this. I
Mhm.
need to rewrite this script for myself because I have this belief and it's a belief that was built out of hurt.
Yeah.
A belief that was built from this moment that I had invested so much into and I thought there was this huge possibility into that broke my heart,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
had these ideas as a sense of protection, saying, oh,
Hmm.
everybody does this. This is not how it is, like you're just not lovable like this is not marriage isn't meant for you.
Hmm.
And it was really truly when I had was able to shift this in my mindset and rewrite it that I was able to create something new. And actually the next guy that I dated seriously was my husband. And I've been with him now for, we've been together, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, but we've been together for over 12 years now.
Oh.
And it's been, an incredible journey for us. And we have three biological children. We have an adopted child. We have a grandbaby. Like we have a huge life that we get to live. And it's a life that actually feels real to me, right? Knowing that I am lovable, understanding that we can have a faithful relationship, understanding that all of these things do exist in the world. But
Yeah.
that didn't happen and that didn't show up for me in partnership or in my life until I rewrote it here, until I was able to overcome those shadows. Now,
Right.
this is the same thing that happens for everybody in regards to anything that they want in their life that they don't already have. There's something there. There's some limitation, some shadow, something that is blocking them
Hmm.
from actually having it.
Hmm.
And it's so magical. It sounds like, when we think of manifestation, that's the exciting part. That seems like mystery and magic. And how did this happen? But it's like literally getting out of your own way,
Yeah.
understanding that you are lovable, understanding that you can have that, understanding that you have the capacity to have an extra $10,000 in your bank account, right?
Hmm.
Get it? When you get it, it happens and it shifts very quickly. When I actually got it, and I know this for a fact because I had that moment that I was like, oh shit, like I got some shadows that I'm living in, right? It had come to me. It was like a eureka moment. It was at the end of November, and I met my husband in the beginning of February.
Hmm.
And that was literally it. It just it
Yeah.
happened very quickly. It
Yeah.
happened very, very quickly after a decade of being single and, having lots of situationships, lots of little
Right.
cute little, partnerships here and there, but
Right.
nothing sustainable. It happened very quickly when I realized it and I could shift it.
So I have this question. So there's this thought that like sometimes like you're ready for your partner, you've done all the work, like you're just waiting, but they're like figuring out their stuff, like they're not quite ready to meet you. Do you think that's part of manifestation, or like how does that play in? Does that play in at all?
I don't believe that.
Oh, tell me. Oh, see, this is why I asked. Okay, this is great. Go on.
They're not to offend anybody, like your beliefs are your beliefs. I believe that when you are ready, you will have your partner, and it has nothing to do with anybody else, right? And when you are ready, if your partner isn't ready, that's not the partner, right? Or you're not actually ready, but you think you're ready, you know?
That is so freaking truthful. That is the truth right there. Like, that's the clip. Like, I want to do this so I know where to clip that for the clip because that's so true. It's truly that simple. It is not that complicated. Like, in all of the things that I have manifested, and I have manifested some really interesting and very cool like things that I didn't even really want, but subconsciously, yeah, I did. And but I wasn't like calling it in like consciously. And they have just flooded my life. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. It came so effortlessly. It came without me asking even, but of course, energetically asking. So I love when you say that because if it is complicated, if you're like, oh no, they're wrapping, I don't even know them, but they're wrapping something up, so I'll just wait patiently for them. It's like, no, that person's just like, it's about finding you, literally, physically, like finding you.
I hear women say this all the time. I'm patiently waiting. I'm patiently waiting. And I say, stop. Stop patiently waiting. Okay.
Yeah.
What is a signal that you're sending out to the universe? I'm not ready yet because I'm waiting. I'm here. I'm waiting. Right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
waiting for it. And I'll continue to wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
just really focus on the manifestation and the having it. Right. Knowing that it is yours in this moment, not that I'm waiting for it. Waiting for it means it's not here. Waiting for it is the energy of it's missing.
So, what is a better way of saying that if you are technically sort of waiting because, he's not here or she's not here or they are not here?
I'm
What is
ready.
a good way to say that? What's an affirmation we could say?
I always say it in the positive present tense, right? And create a really powerful affirmation in which you have it already now, right? So it would be something like, I am so happy and grateful now that I have an incredible husband, partner, wife, whatever the
Yeah.
distinction is there, boyfriend, let's say, who is so funny, caring, and monogamistic. I usually pick like three things,
Mm-hmm.
just the number three, but really like three things that are the top three things that I'm looking for in a partner,
Right.
right? That really actually matters to me. And there can be a lot of other things, but
Yeah.
those are the things that are like the deal breaker, right?
Right.
Maybe I'm so happy and grateful now that I am with an incredible partner who is healthy and loves to go on hikes with me or whatever it
Yeah.
is. A lot of times those characteristics can be easily identified by looking at your past relationship,
Mm.
by looking at what didn't work in your past relationship, what
Right.
really got to you in your past relationship, what just was the thing that was just like, no, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, a big part of it was smoking. A big part of it, what I just don't want to kiss somebody that's
No.
smoking, right? No
Gross.
offense
No.
to those smokers out there. It's not for me. I don't want to kiss someone that's smoking. A big thing for me was living a healthy lifestyle. I wanted someone that was, going to the gym, moving their body, like loved going on hikes and being in nature. And I
Mm-hmm.
also wanted to be with someone that could appreciate art.
Mm.
Those were three big things for me. So when I created my affirmations, those were on the top of that list of what I really wanted in a partner.
I love that. Okay, so what about money? What are some ways that we can like manifest money in a way that's actually realistic and not just, I want a, $10 million jet, which I've heard people say before. I actually knew someone who was like, I want a jet. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I just do. Like, why not? And I'm like, that's really not a great reason, but go on.
I
Like,
mean,
go
people
get it.
can want whatever they want, right?
That's true.
It's just like, okay, cool. There was a
Yeah.
time in my life in which I would manifest this again and again. I would constantly buy these pair of shoes. They were Alexander McQueen at the time. I worked in fashion, right?
Mhm.
And I think the shoes were like $2,500 or something like that, or maybe like $1,200. I don't really remember. A
Yeah.
little bit pricey.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I needed these shoes and I needed stacks and stacks and stacks of these shoes. What did I have? I had stacks and stacks and stacks of these shoes. Until there was one day that I was having a conversation with someone that, we were doing some philanthropic work, and he had told me, you know, We were starting a scholarship in India. I was working on to help bring scholarships to India in this particular way so that children could then go to college, so that they had some academic achievements during their, younger years, and then they could go to college for free. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I really want to work towards this. Let me know, like, what are the fees, so we can calculate like how many kids we can get through. I remember him saying, okay, it's $1,200. And I was like, okay, is that $1,200 a month, a semester? Like, how are we going to do this? And he was like, no, it's $1,200. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's $1,200 to get them from their first year of college to their last year of college. And I
Wow.
was like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh my gosh.
was that instant that I was like, that's a pair of my shoes
Yeah.
that could really change and have a ripple effect in someone's life and
Mhm.
then throughout generations after them. And once I got that, man, the way that I live my life changed so much, because I would see this closet full of shoes that were pretty, but I didn't really care about.
Yeah.
And it shifted because then I could see how that could be one family, that could be someone else, this could be, three families over here. And it shifted
Totally.
that I saw life and what really mattered to me.
Yeah.
And that really changed the course of my life and how I manifested and how I really wanted to spend my money. But those shoes mattered to me so much
Yeah.
before that, right? And I'm sure that that jet matters to them so much until something else changes and becomes a priority in their life and, has an emotional reaction to them.
You
It's
make such a good point because a lot of people do get hung up on, like, oh, I want this status symbol, whatever it is, and that will make me a better person, a more higher whatever person, this version of a person. But when you do have that moment of like, or you get the thing, right? Like you get all the shoes, or in this guy's case, you get the jet. Most times, I don't know about you, but most times when I get like a physical thing that I really wanted, and it doesn't have to be like extravagant, but whatever, I really wanted it. And we see this in like studies, like this isn't just me saying, like it wears off immediately. The joy of getting it is waiting to get it. Like it's coming in the mail, I'm gonna get it soon, or I'm gonna go buy it now. But then you have it, it feels good for maybe like a day or so, and then it starts to quickly fade and you do not care. And for me, well, your story was like, oh, and then I could see where I could actually spend my money in a way that mattered. For me, I'm like, absolutely, completely agree with that. But also, it's like made me very, I'm not materialistic, but like just not as materialistic. Like those things that matter just don't matter to me. And it feels kind of ridiculous. But I do understand when we're all in like a spot of like, I need to look a certain way or have a certain bag or drive a certain car. Like, I drive a really nice car, but honestly, I also drove Jeeps forever and I would get another Jeep. I've literally been like, should I just get another Jeep? Because it doesn't matter. Like, you find a place where the material isn't as important. And I think maybe what you're trying to, or what you're getting at is like, you can manifest all of this money, but it's what does that mean to you? Like, how is it really impacting your life? So talk more about that because I think that is
yeah.
scary for a lot of people. Like there's a lot of scarcity with money.
Well, it's exactly what you were saying, how, sometimes we get what we've been like wanting or manifesting or really like striving towards. As soon as we get it, boop, it just
Yeah.
wears off and you're kind of sad about it. And you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
that was it, huh?
Hmm.
And surprised on how many, celebrities, well-known musicians that have hit the top charts or, politicians are my clients because they're just like in the space where they've achieved their biggest goals. And for whatever reason, they have this sense of unsatisfaction within
Yeah.
them, and I always think like, I'm so glad that you've come to me. I'm so glad that we can work together because there's the opposite of that, right? That people will then step into this deep spiral of depression, of darkness, thinking, is this all there is to life?
Yeah.
When knowing that no, there's so much more. And I can say that so truly because at one point I was definitely there in medical school, straight A student, hitting all the goals, looking, I mean, from the outside looking in, this is incredible, right?
Yeah.
You've achieved all your life dreams here. And I had this emptiness. I had that void. And I was like, I
Mhm.
remember waking up every morning and being like, this can't be it. This
Yeah.
can't be what life is about. There has to be something more for me here. There has to be something more significant to life. And that's what really had changed. And I said, I need to step away from this. I need to figure this out.
Mhm.
And it totally unlocked a different layer of my life. And, one of the main concepts that I teach about now, and I talk to clients about, are about how problems really are portals for us.
Mm.
It allows for us to up level. It allows for us to change and evolve into the next version of ourselves. And for me, medical school seemed like a big problem. And guess
And then look what happened.
it changed. It shifted for me,
Yeah.
right? And when I say problems are portals, it's not you successfully achieving the portal, the problem, or you successfully achieving the problem or getting through it in a satisfactory way. It doesn't matter what the problem is.
Hmm.
And the outcome of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the answer was right and you went left. It doesn't matter if the answer was left and you went right, or that you got it right, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter. But it's that you actually dealt with it head on, that something happened, and the shift happens in you, in your identity, as you actually journey towards that problem, as you journey towards navigating it, and even looking and being open to a solution here. That's what actually shifts.
Mm, that's really important. I hope people are very much listening to this right now because that's it. I mean, it really is very simple. Like all of this is very simple. I think
So
that we just complicate it because we're trying to create a story. We're trying to create a solution here, but it really is just very simple. And I like the idea too of problems being portals. That's just a great saying because every time like you are going through something, whether you want to call it a test or whatever you want to label it, it gives you the opportunity to like choose the right direction for you, at least at the time when you think this is the right direction. But it really does bring you where you're supposed to be unless you keep fighting it, which a lot of people will do.
absolutely. And you know what the thing is too? And now when a problem comes my way or a situation or an obstacle comes my way, I look at it differently. And I always look at it thinking like, ooh, a worthy opponent here. Like, let's see how this goes. And I know there's going to be this massive up leveling as I navigate this. And I'm excited about it. And I can, go into this knowing it doesn't matter. Like the outcome of it is going to be the growth that's within me. And that's the outcome that I'm going for.
I love that. So essentially, no matter what you're manifesting, it's about knowing that you already have it. It's about getting that feeling within you that you already have it, but then also not holding on too tight and letting it be free to come to you like a bird. You release a bird, if it comes back to you, it's meant to be, or whatever the saying is. But is that correct?
Yeah, it's really knowing that it's already yours, but I'll take it a step further, and it's doing the shadow work underneath to
Mm-hmm.
really understand that you're worthy of it and having that identity shift. And that starts with, working on the limiting beliefs and working on the shadows that exist within everybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that, oh, you have a shadow and that's just you. Everybody has
Yeah.
shadows. If you don't have a shadow, you're not alive, period.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
it's like really working on them and understanding them gets you so far. And it's not something to necessarily be solved, but it's something to be understood and
Mm-hmm.
observed.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, things shift in your life. Because, if that idea that you have a shadow around worthiness, and when you're about to go apply for that new job, this little shadow, that voice comes up and it says, you're not good enough for that. And it kind of pangs you in your heart. You have a choice now, right? Am I going to listen to the shadow or am I not? And in that moment, when you understand that that voice is coming from the hurt place of you, that shadow space, you
Mm-hmm.
can say, thank you so much, shadow. I'm going to do it anyways. And you make
Mm-hmm.
space. It's not that the voice goes away. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it gets a little quieter, but it doesn't go away. It's always there.
Yeah.
But it's how you can act because you understand where that's coming from.
Right. I love this whole conversation. This is so lovely. You are just a wealth of knowledge. You've got so much good stuff to talk about. I mean, is there any last things that are important that people need to know about manifestation?
Manifestation absolutely can become so easy in your life when you create it as a routine. I think that that is so important. When you are consistent in it, it becomes second nature to you. It becomes like walking and breathing and existing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I actually wrote the 24/7 manifestation method. It's an upcoming book. It's coming out in October.
Yay.
I highly encourage people to pre-order it. I really think that it's going to help you so much, people with manifesting and understanding not only the science behind it, but like how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
in a
Mm-hmm.
way that's so simple. I created this methodology years and years ago, and I've worked with it with thousands of private clients over the years. And now I decided I'm just going to give it out to the world and really have it in a way that people can access and be able to work with freely. So I would, really recommend people kind of reach out and get that book. And it's available everywhere. It's on, Amazon, it's in Barnes and Nobles, it's pre-order. You can get it from Target, like everywhere. So
So
go
exciting.
ahead. I think that it can really be beneficial and give you a new perspective on your life and on the world.
I am so happy you came today. I will have all of those links, all of your links, all of them in the show notes, guys. Go pre order, go follow. Like, you're such a joy. Your Instagram is so fun to look at. You're just like bubbling all the time. It's so adorable. Thank you so, so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was a great conversation. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your having this platform and, giving voice to people that have these ideas. I really appreciate it. Thank you.